Everybody, it's Anthony Brogdon, and all God, people, my people who are watching me, ooh, you're gonna really like this video. Oh man, this guy here is gonna tell it to you straight, no chaser, to like what I do, so that you can hear this amazing story of these resilient, tenacious brothers and sisters who grew up in this town in Ohio. And let me say, I'm excited that he's coming on the show to hear the story, but even more so, and maybe I have told you all, that I'm writing a book on the history of Black towns and settlements. This town will be in the book. And so it gives me more energy as I am about to finish the writing. And so I'm excited that I'm on the right path, knowing that I had never heard of this town, and so many of them that are in the book, but this one in particular, that you're going to get it straight as he knows it. All right. So hit the subscribe button on Strong Inspirations. Come on, people. My numbers are up. It don't cost no money. All it does is let me know you like me, and I know you're watching me, because I see the numbers of those other videos and how thousands, I mean, we had thousands in some instances, have watched them. So come on, people, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button. There is no love button. Hit the notifications bell so you get a ding, a shock, or something to let you know there is new content on Strong Inspirations. So let me tell you what has happened recently. You know, I think about it all the time, and I was thinking one night, I re-release old videos, and I schedule them so when they come out at periodic times, and specifically at 12 noon and 7 p.m. Now, I know you didn't watch them all, and so you'll get a ding, a shot at that time and other times that there's something to watch here at Strong Inspiration. So, and then also don't keep it to yourself, my friends. Tell others about what we're doing here. Me as the host, but also the guests that come on this show. I really appreciate it. And then with the guests, like with this gentleman, he gonna tell you the website and how you can support their efforts. Do that if you're in the area, and if you're not, go visit these places. Did you see the one I did with the lady who is, as she says, she grew up as a sharecropper? I said, sharecropper? She said, yeah. And then she said, and she was just in her 80s. And then she said, I lived on a plantation. I said, ma'am, slavery ended a long time ago. She said, but it was no difference. And at the end of the year, we came up, as he always told us, short. So come back next year. And she walked around with no shoes. I asked her, how do you walk around with no shoes? She said, I did get my feet cut a lot, bruises and warts or whatever as a result of that. But let me tell you, at the end of the day, she has gotten her bachelor's degree and very productive in the society. She said that was just what I went through. It wasn't who I was. Watch that video. Watch the one I did with Frederick Douglass's two-time great-grandson. Watch that video. Watch the one I did with the guy who his two-time great-grandfather was born enslaved. He buys his freedom and the freedom of 15 other people. He then goes buys land in the state of Illinois and a town that he named New Philadelphia. Watch that video. Watch the one that I did with the guy who is the curator of the museum at the Kentucky Derby, at the racetrack where the Kentucky Derby is held. And he talks about the first black jockeys were, the first jockeys were blacks. And one of those guys, I don't remember the name, he said that he was tearing it up. He was winning, he's won more than any of the races. Watch that video, and so many more. Do that, like I say, and tell people about Strong Inspirations. As you all know, I'm this serious about it. I have written this book on the rise of Black business in America, I take you to the 1800s, where I suggest who are the first Black business owners in our country. I didn't come up with it, but my research did. And who were some of the first Blacks to go to college and how they gained an education, what racists did to hurt us in so many ways, but redlining and building those freeways through our districts and so on and so forth. All that is here in this really compact, very comprehensive and easy to read book. And I even came up with something else that if you can get it in one of these very nice felt book cases, book boxes. To keep it. The book is that powerful. So do that, my friends. Y'all know I'm speaking around the country. I'm on my way to Atlanta. I'm on my way to Washington, D.C. If all goes, I'm on my way to London, England. Some universities are now calling me and asking me to come through, and I'm going to kill them. I'm going to tear them up with good Black history. All that and more is on my website, businessintheblack.net. Go there. That's the only place you can get the book. Amazon got enough money. I think it's processed securely on the website. So go there and get you a copy of Black Business Book, there being businessintheblack.net. Now, you hear me use this term strong a lot. Strong is my favorite word. You've been watching me. You know what strong means. Strength, tenacity, resilience, and a sense of oneness, nobility, and grace. And that is my introduction to the strong brother on the channel. Come on. I'm happy you here. Tell us your name. Let's get it on.
All right. Thank you, Anthony, for having the desire to give me an opportunity to address you and your audience. My name is Larry Hamilton. I am a retired Black history teacher from Piqua, Ohio. Piqua is about 25 miles north of Dayton, and it's probably the only city of its demographics that has tolerated or allowed the teaching of a Black history course for 30 consecutive years. So I taught from 1971 to 2001. And after retirement, I wasn't that tired and decided to thank the city that allowed me to reside and rear my children and experience a wonderful lifestyle. And I offered the community an opportunity for casting itself as a inclusively hospitable community.
Okay.
And I had known that there was an opportunity to build a Miami Erie Canal Museum in one of the most important historic tourist destinations in the state of Ohio.
Okay.
And I'm referring to the Johnston Farm. And I know that the Johnston Farm was about to receive the support and funding to build a new addition to its museum that was already in existence that featured the interaction between Europeans and the Native Americans. But now,
let me stop you there. We're gonna get into that. And don't forget that thought. I know it's heavy on your mind, so we're gonna go back at it. But I always do this with all my audience. I want them to get to know the guests a little bit on a personal note, so to speak. So where were you born and raised?
Okay, so I was born in Loveland, Ohio. It's a suburb of Cincinnati, and it essentially was a very small, close-knit Black community. but it was really in a neighborhood that was literally about 3 or 4 blocks wide,
Oh,
and
really? That's small.
everything that, yeah, that's small, and everything that happened there uh, was known by everyone who lived within that small community.
Okay.
So,
And so it's predominantly black. So did you know white people growing up, or you say it was not predominantly black?
so
What was
yeah,
it?
the area that I lived in was predominantly black, but again, it was such a small part of the community as a whole. So yeah, there were only 6 blacks in my graduating class from Loveland High School in 1967. So Anthony, you can imagine that I think that there was a total of 153 students in that graduating class. 6 were black, and
Did
so
you have a long walk to get to school?
uh, we did walk to elementary school and to junior high, and it was not. I would say it's about half a mile,
Oh, okay. So that
less
wasn't
than a
bad.
mile, half a mile. Yeah, and
Did, let me ask you this question. In that kind of circumstance, did you feel isolated because it was just so few black people? And did y'all all sit together at the lunch table all the time and stuff like that? Were you able to kind of overlook race and interact with the other white kids at a young age?
uh, yes, there were those kinds of opportunities, and there were few slights, uh, and we had an opportunity to distinguish ourselves not only academically but athletically. And as you can imagine, that was more the avenue of opportunity for myself and cousins who were very gifted athletically. So uh,
Yeah.
in 67, I graduated and had the good fortune to receive a football grant and aid to Central State University,
Okay.
HBCU,
Right.
in
Right.
Wilberforce, Ohio. And I know that you hailing from Detroit, there were a large number of folk coming to Central State from Detroit and
Right.
the southern Michigan area. So, yeah.
That leads to this question. Well, growing up in that environment, how didn't you not? And I'm taking liberties. Lose yourself as being a black person, even at
That's
that
it.
age.
Yeah,
How does that happen?
that's an interesting question. I for some reason, always had an interest in knowing not only whose I was, but that mattered in terms of who I was. And that stemmed from uh, an early introduction to um, news information uh, with the little rabbit ear antennas and so forth. Uh, but I was always encouraged to know what was going on, so to speak, uh, nationally, internationally.
Okay.
Watched a lot of TV, read a lot of news magazines, and I always had an opportunity to read Jet magazine growing up, and so
Okay.
I
Okay.
had a pretty good idea of
Okay.
the space that I was occupying within Loveland, Ohio.
Let me ask you this: do white people have it better than black people?
Oh, Anthony, you don't have to ask me a question like that. You know the answer to that. Of course, white people have it better than black people. But uh, it's my uh, determination to share that the system that was geared towards allowing that kind of advantage and opportunity to whites was still possible to navigate on the part of blacks who were gifted and talented with skills and all kinds of resiliency, as you mentioned earlier. And those kind of people uh, aren't going to be deterred
I got you. Yeah.
They are the kind of folks that have that kind of drive that is important for our community to focus on and uh, allow to serve as models
Right.
for others within that community.
I gotta ask you this then. There's a couple. I hope you don't mind. Did you ever wish you were white?
I can't say that I wish that I was white, no, but that is something that I know that a lot of people are faced with.
Oh,
Uh, uh,
really?
it-
Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely, because I believe that there are circumstances that have been traumatic on the part of blacks in realizing that the system is denying them,
Yeah. Right.
and it
Right.
would
Right.
be
Right.
easier. That's one of the reasons why so many people down through the history of the United States, if they were able to pass, they often took advantage of that opportunity.
Yeah, oh, sure. Yes. No question.
So that's
Yeah.
that in itself tells or explains to you that having a darker complexion
Right.
wouldn't necessarily give you the opportunity to uh, be mobile
Right.
within that
Right.
system that was stacked against you in the first place.
Yeah, I got a couple more on this note because you got a unique perspective. Were you ever called the N word?
Absolutely, sure.
Really?
Yeah, I see now again, see, I'm 76 years old or will be 76 within the month, October 2nd.
Right. Right.
And so, that's back in the day. And I grew up, at a time when it was said or or even sung, if you white, you all right. If you brown, stick around. But if you black, get way back.
Wow.
So and if you haven't heard that,
Yeah.
then
Yeah. I've heard
you're
it. Yeah. I've heard it.
all right.
Yeah.
Then you're yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I
So
know exactly what you're saying.
absolutely. So yeah, I've heard that word occasionally at school, but yeah, again, I wouldn't, and I've went to
Okay. Well, I'm gonna ask you. You a football
went to
player?
little
Did that make
fisticuffs
you
from
want to
time
fight?
to time.
Did you ever
Pardon
have
me?
a fight with a white kid for
Yes,
something that they said?
yes,
Really? Oh man.
yes.
Did after the fight did y'all become friends because he understood?
Uh,
Sometimes that happens.
yes, for the most part was something that was an outcome of that confrontation. Yeah, so
Really?
as long as I think some of these people understood that you were not willing to be bullied,
Yeah, right, right,
uh, I think that they understood and appreciated under recognizing the culture from which I came from and the kinds of people which the Hamilton family, were part of,
right.
would rally
Right.
around one another and protect the interests of all of the individuals within that family. So
Yeah, yeah, okay.
most
I love
people
that.
most
Yeah,
people would recognize that there was some level of stature on the
right.
part of my family group. So that
Yeah.
was important.
A couple since you alluded to the family, how did they get to that town? How did your father or grandfather, why did they end up there?
I
Was it
appreciate
some,
that.
yeah.
I fully
Mhm.
appreciate that question. Uh, First of all, the area in which my ancestors were enslaved was a triangular area stretching from Madison County down to Garrett County. And so that
And this is
area,
Ohio.
this is Kentucky. There's no
Kentucky.
slavery. There's no slavery in Ohio.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Yeah, there's no
Okay.
slavery in Ohio.
That's right.
But of course, that doesn't mean that enslavers didn't
Yeah.
transport or bring their
That's that,
slaves into Ohio.
that's
Yes,
right.
so
That's
that's
right.
absolutely correct.
Right.
But so from Lancaster to Richmond to Berea. Now, that last one is important because Berea was the home of an abolitionist by the name of Fee.
Right.
Fee uh, uh, created this college
That's
and
right.
opened the doors of this college
That's right.
coeducationally and multiracially as well.
That's right. That's right.
So that's an area that my family originated within. And after slavery, they moved to Warsaw, Kentucky, which is a small town on the Ohio River. And from there, in the around 1890, they moved from Warsaw into Ohio at a place called Laughlin. And from Laughlin, they moved over to Loveland. Now, that's the movement that had taken place within the family group. But that family group was associated with movement that was connected to a church. The
Oh,
church,
okay. I see. I
yeah,
see.
the church was the African Predestinarian Baptist Church, which
Hmm.
was founded by the mother church in Richmond, Kentucky. So
Hmm.
that was the means by which a lot of the uh, people were connected as relatives,
Right.
and a lot of that movement fostered, some relatives being uh, uh, going ahead, so to speak, and then writing or communicating to others that this place was a desirable place, or you want to come and join
Right.
us because we've got jobs and opportunities that we didn't have, you know, as enslaved people. So yeah, that was the situation where lots of these people followed one another from
Yeah,
one
I got
place
you.
to another.
What was the employer in your hometown? Like, where
Uh,
did your father work at the big plant or something like that? Mom worked there. Who what was the yeah? How did that work? Or
yeah,
farmers
so
or
so
something?
so the family arrived in Loveland in 1890, and my great grandmother had attended Berea College. That's an interesting story
Oh,
in itself.
yeah,
So
sure.
she now it her mother was enslaved. Her name was Lucy. Now all of this is a part of what I uh, authored as Lucy's story. There's three
Okay.
books,
Oh, okay.
but book two is focused on that second generation. So Lucy had four sons, and she had one daughter. And it's very interesting. It's defies logic from the standpoint of the historical realities of the 19th century. But somehow it was the one daughter, who was able to go to college.
Oh, I got you. Yeah, a lot
Yeah,
of times they wanted to send the girls to school and had the guys do the work to help
yeah.
provide for the family.
So what?
Um,
So what happened? So what happened, Anthony, was that she became uh, uh, qualified and took the teacher examination and became the first teacher in the Hamilton, Hannon, Ross family group.
when I first approached you, you talked about Rossville. How far is Rossville from where you grew up? And tell us a little bit about Rossville.
So where I grew up is about almost 20 miles north of downtown Cincinnati.
So now Rossville is where?
Rossville is directly across from Piqua. So it's on the north side of the Great Miami River. And let me tell you a little bit about the circumstances by which the Black community was given an opportunity to live in Rossville.
Okay, please.
Okay, so in 1833, the master of this enslaved group of about 400 Black people died. His name was John Randolph. John Randolph was a part of the political clan that was perhaps the most powerful political family in colonial and history, as well as that infancy period of the United States
All
before
right.
the Civil War. There was
Okay.
no more powerful group of people, I would argue, in the United States than that political clan called the Randolphs. And
Okay.
the cousin, one of the close cousins and relatives of John Randolph was Thomas Jefferson. So
Oh,
that
okay.
just tells you,
Yeah. Oh,
the
for
kind
sure.
of
Yeah.
uh, the the kind of family experience and importance that the name Randolph held. But John Randolph, who owned about 8 to 10,000 acres of land, and farmed that land with approximately 400 Black slaves,
Right.
decided that he was going to
Hold on. Let
make.
me stop you there. Don't lose that.
Okay.
What did the land? What land? What did he grow on his land? I don't think it was cotton, was it? What could it have been?
No, it was tobacco.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he grew tobacco, but he was also, an astute horseman. So he had stables of thoroughbreds.
Oh, okay. So tobacco comes out of that area. I got
Yes, yeah,
it. Okay. So he got 400 enslaved people, and
yes.
then they leave when they get their freedom. Isn't that kind of what I
So,
come to
but
conclude?
yeah, it's a long drawn out process. He died in 1833. He had left three wills, and so the relatives, of course, did not want to see those slaves getting up and walking away from Roanoke Plantation in Virginia. You can bet that was the case.
Sure.
So they contested the manumission of those slaves, and the court battle went on from 1833 to 1846, where
Ooh,
they continued to remain enslaved.
right.
But the courts finally in 1846 ruled in favor of the estate of John Randolph,
Right.
and uh, the uh, leader of the estate had come to Ohio, had purchased land in Mercer County, and the reason why is because there was already a small Black, uh, fairly intelligent and educated group that had left Cincinnati as a result of riots, and who had decided to turn to farming, uh, largely through the encouragement of a man who was a Quaker by the name of Augustus Wattles. So
Okay.
he built the emblem, what would be called the Emblem Institute. He was funded by a Quaker in New Jersey, who left $20,000, and that was money by which uh, that school was built, and would serve uh, the purpose of acculturation on the part of Blacks and Native Americans.
Oh.
So
So there's a
that
lot of
was,
Indian Native Americans in the region.
yeah. What's interesting, the same year that the Blacks arrived to inherit their land and property in the amount of 3,200 acres, the whites had began pushing the Indians out in that same time frame around 1846.
Okay.
So yeah, so they were being pushed out and expelled from that area, and so too were the Randolph freedmen, who were being denied the opportunity to settle on their own land that had been purchased for them by Judge Lee, Leigh,
Yes.
and so it's it resulted in them being accosted in New Bremen. Uh, at, and at that time, New Bremen was a part of Mercer County, and
Right.
being pushed back down the canal, the Miami Area Canal, which is the reason why I was saying that the Johnson Farm should accept my efforts to uh, create a branch of a museum at the farm on behalf of the Black uh, Randolph Freedman people, but they
Because
did.
what I came in, they were on a boat. They were on a boat going down the river, right? And had gotten there to the point, and the people told them no. I think it even said they stole some of the money from them somehow, and then they had to disperse.
So here's a little bit more meat on that bone. Uh, it's about they walked about 300 miles from Southern Virginia, Charlotte County, up to and through the Kanawha Valley, and boarded a ship, uh, a, a steamship on the Ohio River. They took that down to Cincinnati. And from Cincinnati, they took the uh, canal boats north through Dayton and Piqua on up to Mercer County and New Bremen. And it was in New Bremen that they were sat upon by a mob. And this white mob had been basically uh, festered,
Right.
and you know, there were politicians, as is always the case, who tried to, you know, foment a great deal more animosity towards these people. And
Mm.
when they got to New Bremen, there was a mob that said, "No, we ain't gonna let you off of these boats, and you're gonna have to turn around and get out of here." And that's what happened. So they went back down the Miami Erie Canal, and they resided for 5 days at this place that I've been mentioning continuously, the Johnston Farm.
And they went back
And
to the farm. Yeah, they went
yes,
there. Okay.
so they went back to the farm. They were allowed to encamp there for 5 days while the people of Piqua decided whether or not they were going to allow them to remain in their neighborhood. And what happened is that the people of Piqua, you know, kind of split the baby, so to speak. They decided that they would not be as inhospitable as the people were in Mercer County, but they didn't decide to embrace fully these Randolph formerly enslaved people. So
Right.
they said, we're not going to allow you to live in Piqua proper, but we don't mind if you want to live across the river in this place called Rossville, and
Okay.
we will allow you to work as domestics or barbers or laborers
Right.
in the city of Piqua, but we're not going to allow you to basically reside there. So that was the half measure of hospitality that the people of Piqua took. And from there, they allowed the Rossville settlement. And from there, some of the Randolphs moved north up towards a place called Rumley in Sydney, Ohio. And others moved further south to Troy, and interestingly enough, West Milton. And West Milton almost had no blacks at that time, but it was a Quaker community that was
Okay.
really open and responsive to aiding these black brothers.
Oh. So how big is Rossville? How many acres might that be? Miles across or something like that?
So it would probably be the about a mile across, about a mile,
Okay.
you know. So yeah, it's a very small area, and
Yeah.
the Randolphs were able to buy over time as a result of their hard work and labor, were able to buy parcels or and build homes in that section.
Oh, okay. What's there now?
Almost nothing that would give you the hint that Black people had lived there almost exclusively, uh, other than a cemetery. So there's what's called the African Jackson Cemetery that has maybe 10 to 15 headstones,
Mm,
but
okay.
as a result of the archival work of some people, we know that there were a significant number of people who were buried there. And there's about approximately 125, 130 people who were buried there, but there only, like I say, 10, 12 headstones there. But, and most of those are USCTs, you know, these
That's
blacks
colored
who
troops.
fought in the Civil War. There's probably
Oh,
about, I would say, 6 or 7 of those headstones still recognizable within the uh, African Jackson Cemetery.
now and this is good for me to know when a town like Rossville kind of goes away. Well, okay, first of all, what made it go away? They
Well,
faced so much violence that they had to leave, couldn't get jobs. What happened?
so I think that the story would have been told that industrialization in towns like Lima, Dayton, uh, uh, Cincinnati
Right,
would have appealed to those people and who would have gotten more of an opportunity to acquire, you know, some upward mobility. So
right.
industrialization was the primary factor.
You alluded that the only thing left is the cemetery. Is Rossville now swallowed up in a larger town, an incorporated town? I'm sure there's some homes and people live in this place. Is it called Rossville still or what?
Yes, it is still called Rossville. However, there are almost no blacks now that live within that area that
Oh,
I
I
can
see.
think of, right off the
Okay.
top of my head. Now, when I came to town back in 1971, there were still the remnants of the Rossville, of the Randolph people living in that area.
Oh, I see.
And up to, let's say, about 10 years ago, there remained, a house or two. And there are some parcels that are owned by blacks still in
Oh, I got
Rossville.
you. I got you.
But the people who actually lived there and who were Randolph descended, they died probably the last one that I know of probably died about 4 or 5 years ago during the COVID
Oh, I see.
outbreak.
Now,
So,
how do you know this story? I mean, you're a historian and you taught history, but is there a remembrance of some sort where maybe descendants come back to Rossville, or is it was it taught in the grade schools or anything like that? Did you teach it?
so I was taught this information by way of uh, becoming familiar with a lady who had a mission or drive to preserve that history.
Okay.
Her name was Helen. They called her Delia Gilmore, and I became friends with Helen, and she began to acquaint me with the story of Rossville, and as such, I began to take students to Rossville to hear the story directly from Helen. And eventually, a genealogy group that I belong to, called the African American Genealogy Group of the Miami Valley, uh,
Okay.
a, a largely Black group, had taken an interest in the Randolph freedmen. And so Helen had a Freedom Days celebration. It was like a reunion on the
Okay.
part of these Randolph descended people. And they would come back and gather at the York Ryle House, which is the house that Helen staged or used as a museum.
Okay.
And it was on the historical record, I think. Uh, uh, and people gathered at that place and
Okay.
fellowshipped and socialized, and yeah.
I got you. Is there a historical marker there?
Yes, there's a historical marker located in the cemetery. I believe at one time, uh, and still is probably, there's a
Okay.
yes, a historical marker located at the York Ryle House. The artifacts and the materials that she had collected and housed in the York Ryle House Museum
Right.
to remain in Miami County or Piqua. And so
Hmm.
what she decided to do was give those archive materials to the uh, museum located at Wilberforce and Central
Okay.
State University.
All right.
So
Okay.
that's what
And
happened.
so, have you seen a lot of those documents?
Sure.
And they're documents of what? Land deeds, that kind of thing?
It, not so much the land deeds. There's a little bit of everything there that archivists would have an interest in. Okay, but for example, I saw the actual names and the layout of the African Jackson Cemetery.
Okay.
It looks nothing like it is actually today.
Right.
And I might share with you that I'm serving on a committee, the African Jackson Cemetery Committee, and that committee is attempting to find a niche by way of calling attention to that cemetery by way of a renovation and preservation
Of the
efforts.
cemetery. Okay.
Yeah, so they are they this the committee has uh, received some funding and has uh, obtained the service of a group, the Allens, in Arlington, Texas. And so they have developed some plans that have been to the liking of the committee. And now it's the committee's role, responsibility to begin to promote that landscape architectural plan and fundraise so that that plan can be implemented within the African Jackson Cemetery.
How great was Rossville in its heyday? How many people might have lived there? What was the how many stores? Was it primarily self-sufficient, that kind of thing in its own right?
So uh, I know that the community was largely self-sufficient. They had some opportunities to um shop uh, in Rossville, but largely most of the uh, business uh, uh, of acquiring groceries and merchandise would have been acquired in Piqua.
I got you.
Yeah.
I got you.
So there was very little, commerce
Yeah, I got you.
of that type of by which the African American community would have been, supported.
But in Rossville, I'm sure they developed a church, might have had a school or any of those kind of things.
Very good.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
they were kind of a self-sustaining community, and just
yeah,
like you said,
yeah.
there was the African Baptist Church that was formed in 1846.
Right.
Okay, wait a minute. I think I'm wrong about that. The they formed that church a little later,
Okay, I got you. I got you.
but by the late 50s, the African Baptist Church had been formed. Now, it didn't stay together, and actually, Piqua would later open its doors in a more hospitable manner to the Randolph people who were basically allowed to live in a couple of different areas within Piqua.
I got you.
One was called Bassett Avenue, which was at the far southern part of the community, and the northern area that was a uh, enclave for domestics who took care of wealthy white people uh, up on the hill, so to speak.
Yeah, I got you.
And so they lived down on areas of Camp Street and Madison Avenue.
Just a couple more. Was Rossville uh a lot of a unique type of homes that the black people lived in? Were there shacks and shanties, or you know what I mean? What? How did they make it look? Were the roads paved? It, and I'm sure they weren't, but
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
How did Rossville look?
So all of the above. There were, it was primarily shanty structures. However, there were some homes, like I talked about the York Ryle House.
Right,
Uh, Later homes that were built in the 20th century had more um, fashionable
right,
appearances,
right,
but the immediate structures of the uh, Randolph people who were allowed to live in Rossville, these were shanties
right.
largely, and some of
Okay.
those shanties were still existing in the early '70s when I first came to town as a
Oh,
teacher.
really? Okay.
Yeah, but there
That,
was also some I can remember one home that was fairly sizable
okay.
by uh, Bernard Newman and his wife,
Okay.
and she was a hairdresser, so
Okay.
theirs was a fairly sizable home in Rossville.
If you had your way, so to speak, and I know you probably are undergoing some efforts, what would your efforts be in regards to Rossville? Is it also a part of that museum that you want to put the Rossville story in that museum, or and so I'll let you take it from there.
Yeah, so that's a wonderful question, and you might be you might be disappointed with the response, but yeah, different people and groups have different agendas. And I had a personal agenda long ago in working with Helen Gilmore
Right,
in the effort to have a preservation of the Rossville community.
right.
Now, I still maintain that that agenda,
Okay, I got
and essentially what I wanted to do and still want to do is to acquire a large uh, parcel and construct a 5-step pyramid of the type that Imhotep,
Right.
the Egyptian uh, uh, genius,
Right.
had constructed.
Right.
And I want something of that type of architecture highlighted in Rossville, and to serve as a welcome community and an opportunity to also have um, become a favorite food restaurant kind of facility.
Oh,
But
okay. I
the
got you.
but the upper levels would house students, the instructors,
I got you. I
who
got you.
would be tied to uh, that uh, uh, that school for training up young people to become guardians of these black settlements throughout the Northwest Territory.
Oh, really? Okay. I got you.
Exactly. That's my agenda.
Yeah. Oh,
So
I see.
that's a
I
part
see.
of it. Now the other part of it is that I want people to also appreciate the fact that blacks had a culture before their enslavement in America.
Yeah, I got you. I love it.
Yeah,
I got where you're going
yeah.
with this.
So
I got where
so
you're going
you
with it.
know, a lot of people, especially in this time of MAGA,
Yeah, 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 yeah,
uh,
yeah,
uh,
yeah.
support,
Right,
want to do away with that sadness associated with the enslavement narrative. It was
yeah,
too
yeah, sure,
harsh. It was
sure,
too
sure, sure.
uncomfortable.
Yeah,
But
sure.
I've always advocated that we show off the architecture and the management and the sophistication of the Nile River Valley,
Right.
Nubia. I know that my mitochondrial DNA is Nubian,
I got you. I see what you're saying.
and I want to build a Kemet temple complex to the south of my facility that I own, just across the bridge from Rossville,
I see what
right
you.
along the path of the Great Miami River Valley. So
That
I'm
that
I'm I'm trying to get people to recognize that this is something that could happen, and it's something that should occur and result in the Piqua truly being able to distinguish itself, as well as Miami County, uh, to distinguish itself as a historic tourist destination that is doing a great deal to foster the preservation of the historical record, not only in Rossville, but in settlement towns, black settlement towns
Yep.
throughout the old Northwest Territory.
I see.
Uh, I had created, when I let's put like, for 27 of the 30 years that I taught here in Piqua, I was the only one. Now, you know what that means. I was the only person of color on the staff at the Piqua High School for 27 of the 30 years,
Teaching Black history.
teaching Black history. Now, I know that there's probably a few people who didn't expect that to have that level of, longevity. And I know that some of them were probably significantly disappointed that I stayed. But again, I was raised in Loveland, Ohio, and around a large group of white people. And to a large degree, some people would say, well, I knew how to behave myself. And as such, I was able to navigate circumstances that people who lived in Columbus or Cleveland or Cincinnati, because they were socially surrounded with large numbers of Black people, would never have survived here. And I was able to not only thrive, but I say survive. I have children that who have been able to take advantage of the opportunity to be educated. Uh,
I love it.
so
I love it.
each of those children are focused uh, on a responsibility to give back and to
Yeah, I
do
got you.
for
I
the
got you.
community.
So let me ask you this then. That least is when you were there and you were navigating through that system, were you a rebel rouser to some degree? Were you kind of an activist because you got to speak on Black rights?
So yeah, I was I think that people appreciated the fact that I was able to speak in a manner that didn't create a lot of friction, and
I
yet
got
knew that they were being addressed in a manner that
you. I got you.
they had to be
I understand.
accountable to.
Yeah, yeah. Did when we on this, and I got to keep going just a tad. When you taught Black history, what kind of things did you talk more about slavery and what happened to us, or were you able to interject some of our successes?
Yeah, I used books, textbooks that started with the um uh, recognition that in the Great Rift Valley, uh, Black folk, African people, were the first to originate as human beings, and so it's not surprising that within that Great Nile River Valley area, also that the first civilizations developed. So
Yeah, that's
yeah,
right.
yeah. So I I talk about those kinds of things, uh, especially uh, at the beginning of our historical
Yeah, yeah,
focus,
yeah. I got
because
you.
that's a part of our history that uh, too many people want us to be detached from,
That's
want
right.
to erase from our ability to connect with.
That
So,
that
that's a responsibility that I take seriously and try to foster even now in developing this Kemetic uh, Nubian style temple uh, that I'm advocating to the south of my Randolph and McCulloch freedom struggle complex. Now, this serves as an interpretive center uh, on the Underground Railroad. So
I
I'm
got you.
still about that business of educating and trying to make sure that the people recognize that it's been more than a minute and a difficult task
I got you.
to be able to offer that kind of opportunities for development within the community.
How my last question, so to speak, is how do people help you? Yeah, I
But
understand
yeah, that doesn't deter or dissuade me because I know that I have a call on my life and a responsibility to do what I can while I can.
that. I got
So,
it.
I do that. And I trust that the Lord will send to me the people who have the skills and the drive and know-how to be able to accomplish the things that I advocate and propose for.
I got you. Well, we'll put all that in the description, and somehow that people can find you, so that that can happen.
Yeah.
We want to be that source and resource for you, and we'll talk offline more so of whatever
Okay.
I can what I can lend myself to do. I promise you that. Hey, everybody, I told you you're going to like this. Now, did y'all get what he was saying in the real sense? He's in that town, and I'm taking liberties by saying it. Let's say by himself, and he's walking around and he's teaching, and it ain't but a few Black students in the school, so a lot of white students got to take his class. So they do take the class so that they can, and he's opening up their minds to the real side of history that is not normally taught. and he's been doing it a long time, and it became his calling. That's what I assume. And so, come on, people, hit the subscribe button on Strong Inspiration. You see what I'm doing here through the people who come on the show. Hit the like button. There is no love button, but I know you loved it because you can feel the energy. He said, "This is what I'm here to do," and I heard that. Hit the notifications bell so when the videos come up, you get notified. And tell somebody about Strong Inspirations. Go to my website, my friends, and get you a copy of my book. Come on, it's very reasonably priced and free shipping. I want you to have this. So do that. Go to businessintheblack.net. And to you, my brother, I say this, and I mean this with all sincerity. I want you to stay strong, stay safe, stay on your grind. I really appreciate who you've become
Thank you. I
as you've
appreciate
done
that,
this all
Anthony. I
these years. Go
appreciate
ahead. You can, yeah, go
I
ahead.
appreciate you giving me this opportunity to share with your audience. I want to say before I leave, and if I don't do this, I'll be in big trouble.
Yeah,
My wife is a beautiful person.
there you
She
go.
too is an educator, a retired
Yes,
educator in the Pickle City school system, where she
yes,
taught art. And
yes.
I am fortunate. This is critical. I am fortunate to have been blessed with students, especially black and white, who've taken my Black history course, and one of my students has become the writer of 3 books that I authored by way of my research and oral history with my grandmother. So
Oh,
she
yeah.
took
Tell
my
us about those right quick. Yes, give
she
us the
took
name.
so collectively these 3 books are called Lucy's Story. So the first one is, Lucy's Story, right choices but wrong still left. The second one is uh, Between Two Suns. That was a phrase that my grandmother gave to me. She said that my grandfather's father had to get out of Virginia because somebody had said something to his mother and he took offense to it and reacted, and then they was going to kill him between two sons, so he had to get out of Dodge. But
Mm,
then the rest of the story was the Berean experience, and that told the story of transition from enslavement in Kentucky to you know uh, opportunities for advancement in Ohio. And
right.
then the last one was specifically centered on Loveland, Ohio, town I just visited yesterday. Uh, and it told the story of the calamitous 1913 flood and some level of heroism on the part of my family members and my grandmother, who was there as I think she was 17 years old at the time. And so she told me the stories and the scenes that she saw in connection with the bravery of her uncle uh, in saving people's lives
Okay.
associated with that flood. So we need to be about the business of giving ownership identity to those people who were denied and have been denied uh, some place in the memory or the history of communities and cities and states and so forth. And that's a part of what I'm also, uh, advocating. You
Yes.
know, this doing the right thing
Yes.
through ownership identity. And
Yes.
again, some people are trying to take away that opportunity that should exist by going back and reclaiming the old, historically discriminatory, you know, people who were given that stature by way of their, connection with the white leadership
That's
of
right.
wealth and
That's right.
military power.
That's right. Well said. Everybody, y'all got it. To you, my brother, I say this, and I mean this with all sincerity. I want you to stay strong, stay safe, stay on your grind, keep fighting that fight.
Thank you, my brother.
Start somewhere as you have. You got the dream. You're mobilizing it. I hope you put it on paper. Talk about how much it costs and all that other stuff, what it looks like, as best you can before you start hiring the professionals and that kind of thing. So that is your vision
Yep.
that comes through.
I sent you some
That's my
information, and
yeah.
especially look at what's called doing the right thing, because that outlines my vision for Piqua.
There you go. Boom. Thank you so very much. With that, I'll say bye bye. We out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye bye.